What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing really, really well. We're just chilling over here on the Resto Shaman. Let's talk about some trinkets. I want to talk about healing trinkets, specifically the one that I think everybody's going to farm, which is the Waycrest one. We'll talk about that in a second. But I want to compare it to some of the other trinkets. Also, this is insane. If you didn't know this, if you were today years old when you found this out, then you're in the same boat as me. Don't worry. I'm in Borealis, okay, which is the BFA zone. There's healing dummies here. The DPS dummies are over here. Like, I know where those are, right? You guys have seen me do a million videos with the DPS dummies. I had no freaking idea that there are healing dummies. Why are they all the way over here, first of all? Anyway, if you just found this out like I did, congratulations. We're all stupid together, all right? It's not your fault. I'm so excited that I found these. Now I can practice healing and not worry about, like, other people being around. Oops, I need to put this to current segment. Current. Over here. Look at this. Look at this. It's amazing. Anyway. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. Healing trinkets. Here we go. So, the trinkets going into Season 3 of this expansion. I was going to say Battle for Azeroth. Of Dragonflight. It's okay. There are going to be some interesting choices. There's some good ones. Like, Pip's Emerald Friendship is from Raid. It just gives you a secondary stat. That's all it does. Nothing too crazy. There's a bunch down here, though. There's, like, Balefire Branch, which is from Waycrest Manor. Mastery is not super good for Resto Shaman, but, you know, this Enkindle Your Soul giving you 3,600 intellect might be good if you really need to heal somebody in the raid, let's say. Like, you know exactly when the healing is required, and you can just dump it all. But I don't think that's really realistically going to be a good trinket for us. This is the healing trinket from Raid, this smoldering seedling. Basically, you plant a seedling in the ground, and it's, like, dying. If you heal the seedling, it'll replicate that healing to a bunch of your allies. So it encourages single-target healing, and it will splash that to nearby allies, which is really good because all the healers got buffed. Their single-target heals got buffed. Like, Healing Wave and Healing Surge are, like, 30% stronger than they used to be, and Riptide's going to be stronger with our healing. So that might be a good choice. Again, that's in the raid, though. Slightly less accessible, because you have to actually complete the raid in order to get it. Echoing Tearstone is, of course, from the new Mega Dungeon that's getting split in half. I don't really care for this thing, but it's a good trinket. Ashes of the Ember Soul, this is, again, from the new raid that's coming. This is from Fyrak, I think, himself, the final boss. I hate this trinket because when you use it, it gives you a huge intellect boost, but then it gets rid of the haste bonus that you have. So I really don't like this. It's more of a DPS trinket anyway. Not really good for healers. Here's the last two that I think are going to compete. These are going to be the most competitive for the Waycrest music box, which I'll talk about in a second. The Revitalizing Voodoo Totem from Atal Dazar, I think is going to be really good. I used this during BFA. I loved it. It was a nice cooldown to have. It was like an additional cooldown, basically, that you could use. And you can actually throw this into, like, Cloudburst Totem if you run this for Shaman. If you're doing, like, Holy Pally, it'll go into your beacons. It's really, really cool. I'm not entirely sure how much, like, what else it's going to kind of work with. I was thinking it's going to work with Riptide, but it's not. Anyway, it's a great trinket, though. It's only a 1.5 minute cooldown. It actually heals for a lot. It starts low, the healing, and then it ramps up over time. I know that number doesn't look too amazing at 2,000, but it gets better every single time it procs, so it's actually quite good. And then there's the only mana returning trinket in the new season, because they're gonna like giga nerf the Rashok's trinket right now that comes from Raid, and then this is gonna replace that, I think, essentially, if you need mana. So your Healing Wave and Healing Surge apply and refresh Fragile Echo for 6 seconds. When Fragile Echo expires, it restores 832 mana to you. I haven't quite tested this yet, but here's what I wanted to test. Our Primordial Wave makes us throw out a Healing Wave on multiple allies. So we're going to do this. Riptide, Riptide, Primordial Wave. And then we're going to heal. And there's Fragile Echo on that guy. And there's Fragile Echo on that guy. And there's Fragile Echo on that guy. So we're going to get 832 mana from all three of those. So that actually does work as I was hoping it would. So that might be a really good trinket for Resto Shaman. I hope they don't nerf this interaction. But you can essentially spread your Riptides around as you would normally, and you can get a good amount of the money. If you're playing with Primal Title Core, right? You go Riptide, 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 and then do another Riptide over here, let's say, and then you can do your Primordial Wave, and you're going to cast a Healing Wave, and that's going to proc your Fragile Echo thing on everybody who's got it on them, because it's going to splash. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of mana return right there. So I think this might be one of the better trinkets you could pick up as a Resto Shaman. This is, I think, your best trinket that you're going to want to pick up as a Resto Shaman. Lady Waycrest Music Box. So here's what the base effect of it is. Damaging spells have a chance to cause more damage. Healing spells have a chance to cause more healing. 25,000 healing, 23,000 damage. That's no joke. That's a lot of damage and a lot of healing. Now, where this gets really good is when you also get the ring, Lord Waycrest Signet. When you put them together, you get the tier set bonus, or the set bonus, which says when you trigger the damaging effect or the healing effect, there's a chance that you will trigger the other effect at 60% of the power. So this is really good because it means when you're having a moment where you really just need to heal everybody, when everybody's dying and you just really need to pump out some heals, you're healing and healing and healing and Primordial Waving, and there's a chain heal and another chain heal. There's tons of triage healing. Big healing wave goes out. We're going to get Fragile Echo on all this stuff, by the way. Let's see how much mana we get back. Watch our mana pool right now. Give me a second. Watch our mana pool. 86, 87, 88. You see that? 89. That was pretty cool. When you have those moments, all those heals might actually get to trigger the Cacophonous Chord, the damaging chord, and you're going to get a bunch of damage for free. Or if you're doing damage, you're going to get healing for free, which is really, really nice. This might end up being your setup in 10.2, particularly if you're a Mythic Plus healer. The rest of the raid trinkets, I went through them all. I think, the Smoldering one might be good. Ashes, I really don't like the idea of it. Those are kind of the only two that are really interesting to me. There's also a crit one here for damage, but I don't think you're going to want that one necessarily. So I don't know. We're going to have to see kind of how this works out, but I think that realistically speaking, these might be your best two trinkets right here. This Blossom of Amugisil, I didn't even talk about it because I've tested it, and the proc rate on it is so freaking low. This is a very bad trinket in my opinion. Obviously, the stats on it are outrageous. 952 intellect because the item level is so high. If you happen to get this drop, then it might just be really, really good. But again, I'm looking at Mythic Raid, and I'm only wearing, whatever, Heroic Raid level stuff. But I think these are your two best trinkets. I think you want Lady Waycrest Music Box with the Waycrest Signet for sure. And then I think you want the Amalgam 7 Spine to give you your mana back, especially because it works with Primordial Wave, as we showed right there. So let me jump to a dungeon that I did really quickly here. And I just want to show you the dungeon that I was running. I tried it with the trinket on. So we actually had the music box here. Let me just show you this opener. It's pretty insane, actually, how crazy this is. But this is a dungeon that I tried with the trinket on. I had Lady Waycrest Signet, and I had the ring. So I'm getting the set bonus as well, where it procs. We're doing a ton of healing here with the sentence. This is really rough. These cats jump, and they do a bunch of damage. That link probably wasn't required there, but anyway. We're doing 120k HPS and then 20k DPS. Again, that's a moment where I had to triage heal really, really hard, and I was able to get a bunch of extra damage out of it from the Cacophonous Chord. Let me just move forward a little bit, because we end up dying a whole bunch of times because people don't know how to do this dungeon. Like, we died again. Good times. Then we actually get to... Yeah, we die again. Never mind. We get to the boss fight. Okay, we shroud through here. I don't know why. This guy was doing, like, MDI strats in the PTR. Very annoying. I just wanted to do stuff. Anyway, we do this boss fight, and I check my stats afterwards. I'll show you in a second. But we do this boss fight, and my damage and healing are pretty good. Everybody ends up dying here because, again, they don't realize that you're supposed to deal with the ads, I guess, which is pretty annoying. But here we go. People are going to end up dying. It's okay. I end up dying as well. And then I end up checking the stats just on this one fight. Do I end up doing it right here? I think I die in a second here. I don't know why we even kept doing this. This is so annoying. There we go. I'm dead. And then I check it here. Look at Cacophonous Chord. On the boss fight alone, it was doing 10.2% of my damage. That's actually insane for a trinket to be triggering that much. Now, again, I was heavily healing on this fight. I wasn't actually doing a ton of damage myself, but it's that extra set bonus that was kicking in that was helping. Now, the healing part of it wasn't very good on the boss fight. 2.7% is all I was getting. But again, the healing wasn't really an issue. I had lots of healing on myself, but getting the damage proc was pretty cool. So This thing to me is going to be interesting. Let me show you the overall numbers. Here's how much damage it ended up doing. We didn't even finish that entire Mythic Plus run because everybody kept dying. It's doing almost 10% of my damage overall. I would say over the course of a dungeon, that's what you're looking at. Almost 10% of your damage just from the Cacophonous Chord. It's just going to add that much damage to your build just to have this trinket. And then healing-wise, it wasn't as good, once again, but it overhealed quite a bit. So it's probably somewhere around 5% of your healing. That's probably okay with all the other healing spells that you have. I think realistically, this thing is going to add an enormous amount of damage for free. You don't have to do anything in order to get the damage out of this. And then, yes, if you really do need the extra Harmonious Chord to heal people, it's there as well. And again, you can tie that into Ancestral Guidance. You can tie it into Cloudburst Totem if you want to run that. And you can get a bunch of extra value out of these chords, kind of double dipping with some of these mechanics. So I think this is going to be a very, very good choice, in particular for damage, as I've been talking about. Again, 10% of my damage overall. The ring, unfortunately, the stats on the ring are kind of annoying. Crit is really good. Inverse is actually okay for Mythic Plus, but we're not getting any haste, which I kind of love. But that's okay. It's only one gear slot. That's okay. Not a big deal. And I think this is a fantastic trinket to take for any healers, honestly. For any healers, I think you're going to want this. For Resto Shaman, I think it's really good. And in particular, I think Amalgams is going to be really good as well. So the two dungeons that I think you realistically are going to want to farm on the very first week of the new patch are going to be Waycrest Manor and Blackrock Hold. That's where these come from. And you're definitely just going to want to farm these as a healer over and over again until you get lucky and you get them, because these are so powerful, particularly this one because it works with Primordial Wave, giving you all the mana back, and this one, Lady Waycrest, giving you the damage proc. That's mostly what you're looking at there. So of all the trinkets that I've kind of looked at, of all the trinkets that I've kind of tested, I think those two are the best. Very, very close seconds are going to be Pip's Emerald Friendship Badge, which just gives you secondary stats, and then the Voodoo Totem as an active cooldown, an additional cooldown. If you want a big on-demand kind of burst healing cooldown, this thing is fantastic. So that's kind of it for the trinkets in 10.2 as of right now. We don't know if they're going to add some trinkets to like the Everbloom, because Everbloom literally doesn't have any trinkets right now. I get some Warlords, right? They don't have any, like, real trinkets. Like, this, I don't think this is going to exist in the new patch. It might. If this goes live like this, maybe, but I'm waiting to see if they change how some of the trinkets are going in the Everbloom dungeon, because these are all just kind of like, they just proc secondary stats, which is actually pretty strong, to be honest. So we'll have to see if they end up deciding to change this or not. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much again for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the trinkets and what you think about my assessment of these two trinkets here. I think they're the best, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Please let me know in those comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. Love you all. I will see you in the next one.